Hey, you guys. I hope everyone's well. Well, I want to kind of correct something that still I don't understand it. Okay. So I said on October 6th, the trial would be starting for Jarvis Butts and Isaiah Harris. I said the trial would be starting because I thought that it would. And a lot of people are thinking it's supposed to start on October 6th. No. Jury selection is starting on October 6th. Now I'm thinking, okay, March 7th, which just left us, that was Friday. I'm thinking that they were going to start the situation then. They have a little behind the scenes that they don't really have to put in the media for everybody to know. But I'm thinking maybe they asked him again, hey, do you want to plea? This is your final offer. And he's like, no, we're going to go on with trial. And then they're like, okay. And then after that, they will start to get this case together, right? You have 6 entire months. Now, regardless, he's going to be sitting in the jail. He is. He's going to be sitting in jail, within the 6 months and after the 6 months, it doesn't matter. But we're like, I'm like, I'm like sitting here like, okay, so we learned on Friday that the trial is October 6th, which makes sense. But no, jury selection is October 6th. Now, jury selection can take anywhere from, a few days to a few weeks. It takes a while because if you live in Detroit, Michigan, I am pretty sure that you've heard about this case. I'm pretty sure. It probably was all over the local news if you live in Detroit, Michigan. Now, if you're on social media, you may have heard about this case. I know people that are on social media that haven't heard about this case other than the things that I've told them about it. They really haven't heard about this case. They have no idea what I'm talking about. So it's a selected group. It's you guys, the ones that are listening to this video right now and the ones that listen to other videos that are discussing Jarvis Butts and Isaiah Harris and, the other family members. It's us. We're like a selected group. It's a large group, but it's not that large that everyone knows about it. I'm just assuming everybody knows about it, but they don't. I promise you, if you ask other people, your coworkers or, other family members, they're probably like, no, I haven't heard about this. But yeah, so I was thinking that this whole entire 6 months that they would be gathering the jurors then. So whatever the hell they're going to be doing for 6 months, we are waiting till jury selection, October 6th. And then after October 6th, they pick the jurors, however long that takes. And they have to make sure that these jurors are legit jurors, that they really haven't heard, that they haven't Googled nothing, that they haven't been speaking about this case, that they really don't know anything. Because the one thing that we don't want is if it's not going really good in Jarvis's favor, we don't want his lawyer saying it's a mistrial because juror number 8, actually they brought up her social media page and she has a Justice for Naziah, a meme on her page. I mean, anything that simple can have like a case, thrown out. So we have to hope that that's not going to happen. So yeah, they might have to. And I've heard and I've watched where they have a case like this that's really, really popular. I'm going to use that word in the city that it is happening in. They will actually transport jurors outside of Detroit, Michigan. You know what I mean? So maybe the next state over, even city over, they will do that so that it won't be, a mistrial. Because I can see some BS like that happening. But again, I'm just assuming that everyone knows about this case when they really don't. It's just us selected people that have been following it since. A lot of you guys have been following it since day one. I have been following it since a year ago when she was on the bus and she got off the bus. And I didn't even know all these other people existed. I just been following it for that damn long. So it's like, okay, so now we have to wait. So let's just say, I don't know how long it takes to make sure a juror is legit. So I asked a friend and he was like, it could take anywhere from a few weeks to maybe like a few months. So let's just cut it and say it takes about 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks. Let's just say it takes that. So they start picking October 6th, right? So let's say by early November, they have all the jurors. Everyone's legit. Everything is ready to go. So now we have Thanksgiving coming up. Now, Thanksgiving is like 2 days, right? So Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday. And then that other Friday, they always have reserved. So those 2 days are off. Will they start the trial and then break for Thanksgiving? Because if the trial's not wrapped up, then we have Christmas coming up. And you know how they love to shut down everything for these holidays. Like everything is closed, on Thanksgiving. And then we have New Year's Day. So I'm like, damn, is it a possibility that this trial may not be into 2026? And in actuality, you guys, I would be okay with that. Because if Naziah Harris is really going to get the justice that she deserves, and we don't want nothing effing this up. We want these people to come forward, these people to say what needs to be said. We want everyone to be put on trial. We want it to go the way it needs to go. So if we have to wait for, as my mom would say, everyone to have their ducks in a row, if we have to wait for that early 2026, then so be it. I also heard that we already knew that there was like 22 witnesses, right? That's what it started off with the preliminary that we did a couple weeks ago. It was 22 witnesses. Now it's 40 more. That's what Roxy said. Roxy, again, for those of you who don't know, is Naziah's cousin, who's been on it at the courthouses, all that. So it's 40 more witnesses. Where the hell did they come from? I don't know if they did preliminaries, because every preliminary I did on this channel, I try to do every one that I seen. So I don't know. But 40 more witnesses that are testifying. I don't know if it's against Jarvis. I'm assuming, but you know what happens when you assume, but they're testifying. So it could be on anything. It could go on either way. They could be testifying, as to what they've seen involving Jarvis, or testifying maybe on, other family members that could have led to situations that Jarvis was involved in. I don't know. But wow, that's like a total of 62 witnesses. So how long is this trial going to take? You know what I'm saying? If it did start early 2026, it could take some time. They said it could be like a month-long trial. I don't know how it would wrap up that quickly with 62 additional witnesses, plus the ones that we already have. I don't know if the preliminary people are coming back, I think a lot of them do have to come back. Like, for instance, the forensic person that specialized with the blood and stuff on the clothes that Naziah had on. Let's see, the doctor, Naziah's doctor, that might come back and say that she was healthy. She had no pregnancies then, but her last doctor's appointment, she was healthy. So there's no reason that she should have, died, by any means other than if something had happened to her. Like, for instance, they probably don't need the woman that found the Naziah's ID. They probably don't need her. But there's a lot of people that was during that preliminary that they might need. maybe even the lady that was supposed to come down when Isaiah was on the floor at school, but she never got there, which is really still messed up to me. Because I think if that person would have got there and spoke to Isaiah, she probably would have said, she was in pain. She probably would have said, I'm pregnant. Maybe this would have, they would have said by who? Maybe she would have said who it was by. And then she would have been living though, you know what I'm saying? And we would have never even knew that these people existed. She'd have been somewhere, a little girl that, her child was, being aborted. I hate to use that word, but with whatever they was giving her prior to that day that she was in the school. So she would have just been a situation that we would have never known. And I would have loved that, because if we would have never known about it, that means she would be somewhere alive and maybe finally taken away from these people, really. But, you can't cry over spilled milk.
County Criminal Justice Center, Judge Nicholas Hathaway laid out dates in the Jarvis Butts case. Butts is accused of murdering 13-year-old Naziah Harris last year. His jury selection is scheduled to start October 6th. Jarvis Butts was in court Friday to hear Judge Nicholas Hathaway decide key dates in his trial. The defense and prosecution both agreed on the dates as they await the full transcript to be typed out so they can read it over. Butts was previously in court January 17th for a hearing where he entered a not guilty plea. At that hearing, just like Friday's, Naziah Harris's family and friends were present. Butts, 42 years old, of Detroit, is charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and child sexually abusive activity. Butts is also accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Naziah. She was last seen getting off her school bus at the corner of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit on January 9th of last year. Her body has not been found. As jury selection starts October 6th, the prosecution said it could call 40 or more witnesses to the stand, and the defense said it could call 10 or more. It's a trial that could take 3 to 4 weeks.
I'm hopeful that you're going to have that transcript here, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Obviously, with that trial date being in October, we had some time to work with. But I'd like to see you all again for final conference.
Today's calendar conference also laid out another key date, which includes the last conference. That will be on Friday, June 20th. Reporting from the Wayne County Criminal Justice Center, Jordan Burrows, CBS News, Detroit.
You guys, I just want to bring that to you really quick because I just was sitting here listening to a few things and I'm like, okay, so this 6 months, we're chilling. We're chilling. And, in early October, they're doing the jury selection for however long it will take. And then they might go ahead with the trial. Or they might wait until early next year if they don't think that the holidays will be a problem. They might wait. And then we have to also take issue that Jarvis is not the only case there in Detroit, Michigan, I'm pretty sure. So they have to make sure that it's able to be scheduled on their court docket. We're just assuming that, he's the only one that needs to be in court. No, it's a lot of other people. Like, how about the heifer? Wasn't she from Detroit? I know she's from Michigan. I did the story, but I can't remember. The heifer that was somewhere else while her kids was living in that nasty, now condemned place for 5 years. Remember that? I know she got a court case coming up, but I don't think she's in Detroit. I can't remember. But the woman, I do remember the woman that killed her son and left him in Detroit and went to Atlanta. Zamir King. Yeah, I believe she got extradited back and they did not give her a bond. Sorry, you guys. I'm actually sitting outside of the hospital right now, and I'm waiting on somebody. So I just, I don't have like any notes with me right now. So everything's on the top of my head. I'm just trying to remember stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of court cases going on in Detroit. So we can't just assume that, he's going to be able to be on the docket anytime soon. But again, I would be okay with it, and I'm sure everybody else would be okay with it if we know she's going to get the justice that she needs and the justice that she deserves. If it is, after the holidays, early 2026, it's going to happen anyway. Jarvis is going to sit there regardless. He was sitting there beforehand. He's been in jail for a year and some change already. So he's going to sit there. This is his life now. This is where he needs to be. His ass should have never gotten out. Well, I'll be back later. I don't think nothing else is going to jump off. The only thing that could happen between now, honestly, you guys, the only thing that could happen between now and the time that they start to find jurors is if they find her body. Or if he wants to say where her body is. And I believe that there's more people that know where Naziah's body is besides Jarvis. So if somebody calls in, gives a tip of where her body is, that's the only thing that may kind of shift stuff, forward or even backward. Who knows? But we just have to wait and see. Time will tell.